Hey, I'm Thomas. Vampires, zombies, ghosts. That's what Halloween is all about, right? Maybe you're feeling something extra and slasher movies aren't just activating the terror parts in your brain. So you get into the more realistic territory like natural disasters or the rebelling of AI or alien invasions. Sometimes even that doesn't cut it because you are looking for that primal, uncomfortable, existential dread. If that's not what Halloween is about, then I don't know. Surely it's not one of those capitalism-induced events to make you digest more and more and more. You might have stumbled on the story of one Stanislav Petrov, a Soviet lieutenant colonel that has refused the order to retaliate a potential first nuclear strike from the United States. He had a suspicion that this was a false alarm, and he was right. Scary to think that the potential future of all life on the planet was in the hands of one man for a moment. Or how about the fact that around 50 to 100,000 years ago, there were only around 20,000 individuals of Homo sapiens due to the environmental factors. Our DNA is less diverse just because of the small number of humans roaming the planet. Do I need to explain how little 20,000 is? But there's one more thing. For one reason or another, this one gets swept under the rug a lot as something that just wasn't that significant. And in my opinion, it is on par with the atrocities of the 20th century, the horrific predictions of the upcoming centuries, or even scarier than the nowadays job market. And it is the Dark Ages. Exactly. I mean, yeah, the image of giant cathedrals surrounded by little wooden structures whose inhabitants are dying of the Black Death and the common flu is a little daunting. But is this scarier than World War III? How nice of you to ask a question to which I have an unusually large amount of information. Come, first I need to explain to you what you're working with. Ancient Greece seems, around 1,000 years of the Dark Ages, but there's this one aspect of the evolution of society you need to get a hold of. The rise of ancient city-states in ancient Greece is considered by some historians as the first step towards any civilization in Europe, which is also arguable. You can yell at each other and me in the comments. These are recognized as a step towards a completely new way of life to modern humans. The ancient principles like tribes, polytheism, or social hierarchy, slavery, are still present, but with one slight addition. The creation of city-states gave the Greeks something new to improve and to live for. No longer you are only looking towards the survival and the continuity of your family tribe, you are now working towards the betterment of society. Philosophy, democracy, culture, science, the striving towards perfection through physical, emotional, and intellectual means. Mythology might still be present here, but it doesn't necessarily give meaning and aim to individual's life. And the individual is what is making this city-state, polis, happen. Interchangeable and inseparable. Until they weren't. See, to contribute towards something collectively, you first have to want to do it. And the city-states made the direct distinctions between the public and the private, the real and the transient, and the law and freedom. You are free to do whatever the law does not forbid you from doing. And so, you are free to leave. And you should, because the Romans are coming anyway. Now, every history nerd on the planet for some reason knows the entire history of the Roman Empire from front to back, so if I made a mistake here, I'd get eaten and digested before this video even ends. So, I'm staying only with the basic necessary concepts. The Romans continue in the Greek culture to an extent. They recognize the importance of the cultural contributions the Greeks have made, not to mention that their pantheons are very similar, but the Roman Empire wasn't great just because of its size. We can see a new shift in the development of society. Yes, you had monarchs like kings and queens even before ancient Greece, and that's how the Romans started as well. They also had their own equivalent of Greek democracy. The Roman Republic had institutions like the Senate or assemblies. But then came the age of emperors. This defined the main ambitions of a lot of leaders in the following centuries. Why would you not mimic the greatest empire known to man so far? But well, you know how this era ended. One of the things that creep into the playing field is our primary subject of this video. This little, innocent-looking, harmless movements of sorts. And it's, of course, the one and only Jeebus Christus. Now, I made a video about my opinions on the effects of Christianity on society, but I didn't really go that deep enough to realize something much more pressing. Christianity in a vacuum is harmless. I believe the same about any religion that has emerged in the written history, to be honest. This is absolutely not an attack on people practicing their human rights. And I'm pretty sure that's legal and okay for me to do anyway, because, opinions. So Christianity works like any other form of society, in hierarchies. And as the religion spread a lot, the people felt that it should be the main thing anyone should be concerned about. It is, after all, the word of God. And so Justinian I, the emperor of the Byzantine Empire, had the amazing idea of being the placeholder of both the head of the empire and the church. He wasn't the pope, but he was the guy approving the candidates for the position of pope. However, Christianity has this very important niche. And I invite you to think about this yourself in the comments. I read them all and it totally does not affect my mental health in any way. It is the religion of obedience. Now you see, obedience is easy to achieve. Do not murder, steal, lie, use wall hacks. There you go, you're obedient. Therefore, your future is safe. Your fate is predestined. And it is that way in the present as well, with the philosophy of tolerance, respect and love, which is nice. But that niche made it spread incredibly fast and wide, and it made Christianity a very serious player in balance of power. Fast forward to the medieval times, an individual is born, immediately baptized, whether he is poor or rich, and thrown into the society. With the Christian foundation being the status quo, anyone reaching out of this norm is being persecuted. Named as a heretic, casted out or worse, made into a marshmallow. The individual coming from the school of thought from Greece is dead. The power of the emperor coming from Rome is gone. Enter the Dark Ages. And this can go on forever. I believe some people not diving deep into this topic don't realize the threat that this actually brought onto humanity. But you could have seen this elsewhere anyway. The nerd homework, known as the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov, is known for 1. Being boring if you're not insane, unlike me, and 2. Considering unexplored concepts of society, politics and culture. To keep it short, the Foundation is a colony that is aiming to restore the now shattered empire, expanding the entire galaxy. One step that they had to take was to establish a religion. Why? Well, the infighting and political tension around the still inhabited planets made it nearly impossible to even consider any cooperation. So they used their science to perform miracles, created a godlike entity in form of the entire galaxy, and also created a hierarchy, with them presenting the highest of priests. While they knew that they just made that shit up. And you know what? It worked. Because it brought humanity together, at least until some other religion showed up, like money. Not scary enough? Okay. Warhammer 40k series. The Empire of Man is a fascist regime that's creating super soldiers that fight for the one true religion of the God Emperor. Well, Thomas, you're mixing reality with fiction. What does this have to do with anything real anyway? First of all, to write fiction, you have to have some inspiration from the reality. Unless you're an omnipotent, immortal, tentacle, eldritch being, whatever. And second, these are like perfect examples. It all fits. Society built on a system that attempts to unify and guide the masses through shared stories and mythology, while abstaining from this system results in punishments in form of you leaving the server or getting barbecued. Want more power and control? Okay, make your own word of God and make it canon. Want to keep the populace obedient? Okay, make it scared of straying off the path. This could go on forever. But you're right, it ended. When you want to build a church, you have to ask for the specific member of the church to come and bless it. You also need to ask for funding from them. A priest isn't just another profession that you come in contact with. They're a fundamental part of society. Monarchs are working with them or against them. You want an education? Better go get yourself introduced to the monks. Have an extra kid that you can't feed? Throw it into the monastery. But do you need to ask them if you can build a sewage here? Or your neighbor stole your rare original base set holo Gengar Pokemon card? Do you really need a bishop to settle this? What about schools and culture and festivals? Hey, can I paint a woman that has a semi-smile? You know, like as if she's smiling but not really and her eyes are following you anywhere you stand? The church lost its grip on the populace as the townships formed. And you know what happens when your regime starts to weaken? People like this guy come, with their opinions like, here's 95 reasons why your mom's a hoe. Tolerance sprouted. Pluralism exploded. The world entered Renaissance and history took another course. But what if it didn't? What if the grip only tightened? What if every stray sheep that wandered away from the herd was punished and forgotten? What if every constitution, every aspect of a person's life revolved around the religion of a guy that probably didn't want this at all? You need the sewage project approved by the Pope. The royal court is only an aesthetic part of society. Education is only for the chosen followers of the Word of God. This could go on forever. No amount of rebelling is helpful, since everyone is indoctrinated. The centuries go by, Pope after Pope, holy wars after holy wars. No other ideas emerging other than the ones contemplating the nature of God. The Dark Ages are a story of when humanity nearly enslaved itself forever. Happy Halloween. Sleep well.